5 life-changing lessons nobody tells you before 30, Lantern and Lark Tales. The Lantern in the Dark. There's a strange thing about turning 30. People call it the Big 30 as if the number itself carries a secret weight, a milestone etched into stone. For some, it feels like a finish line. For others, a new beginning. And yet, almost nobody tells you what really happens when you cross that threshold. Welcome to Lantern and Lark Tales, where stories illuminate the quiet truths we often overlook. If you're listening right now, you're here for more than entertainment. You're here because some part of you senses there are hidden lessons waiting for you, lessons you wish someone had whispered in your ear before the candles on your 30th birthday cake flickered out. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share isn't in the self-help books lined on the store shelves. These are the lessons you only uncover through mistakes, heartbreak, restless nights, and unexpected turns. And if you listen until the end, you'll carry with you a map others never had. Before we dive in, let me ask, have you subscribed to Lantern and Lark Tales? Because the stories we share here aren't quick flames, they're lanterns meant to guide you through the fog. Hit that subscribe button, light the lantern, and walk with me. Now, let's begin. Lesson 1: Time isn't infinite, but it is generous. When you're in your 20s, time feels like an endless fountain. You waste afternoons scrolling, nights in places you don't care about, mornings recovering from choices you half remember. And somewhere deep down, you think, I'll always have tomorrow. But here's the truth nobody tells you: tomorrow doesn't stay loyal forever. By the time you approach 30, you start noticing the subtle changes. Invitations from friends slow down. Some drift into marriages, careers, or cities you've never visited. Birthdays stop being wild parties and start becoming quiet dinners. And when you look at the calendar, the years don't stretch out like infinite summers, they fold into each other like pages turning faster and faster. Yet, listen carefully, this is not a story about scarcity. It's not about panicking because time is running out. The secret lesson is that while time isn't infinite, it is generous if you learn how to hold it. The illusion of endless summers. Think back to when you were a teenager. Remember that feeling when school ended and summer stretched out before you? June felt like an ocean, July like a continent, August like a mountain. You believed you could climb it all. But then September arrived in a blink, and you wondered, where did it go? That illusion never really leaves us. Even in our 20s, we think we're standing on an endless summer. We say, I'll start saving later. I'll take that trip next year. I'll call my parents tomorrow. I'll figure out what I want eventually. Nobody tells you that procrastination doesn't feel dangerous until it quietly steals entire years. The turning point. For me, the realization came on a random Tuesday. I was sitting in a cafe, laptop open, pretending to work. Across from me, a man in his 50s sat with his teenage daughter. They laughed about something, a silly inside joke only they shared. And in that laughter, I suddenly saw time itself. I saw the 20 years that had carried him from being my age to being her father. It was like the universe tapped me on the shoulder and whispered, your years will pass, too. What will you have to show for them? That day, I learned the generosity of time. Because here's the paradox, 30 years can feel like a blink, but it also contains more mornings, more conversations, more choices than we ever honor. Hoosing your hours like coins. Imagine time as coins falling into your hand every morning. 24 golden coins. each one bright, warm, alive. You can spend them however you like. Scroll for hours? Spend a coin. Argue with a stranger online? Another coin gone. Work on your dream? That's a coin invested. Call your grandmother? That coin becomes priceless. By 30, you begin to see the pattern of your spending. And if you're honest, some of those coins have been wasted on things that never mattered. But here's the gift: every morning, without fail, the universe hands you 24 new coins. Until the day it doesn't. That's the generosity of time. The weight of someday. How many times have you whispered the word someday to yourself? Someday I'll travel. Someday I'll write my book. Someday I'll learn the guitar. Someday I'll apologize. Someday I'll change. But someday is a thief dressed in kind words. Nobody warns you that by the time you're 30, your list of somedays can become heavier than your list of todays. Here's the unspoken lesson: if you don't start transforming some of your somedays into todays before 30, they calcify into regrets. And regrets don't fade. They echo. The hidden gift of 30. And yet, 30 carries a hidden gift. It's a door swinging open with a new voice saying, "It's not too late, but it's no longer too early." That's why 30 feels different from 20. At 20, you're rehearsing. At 30, you're performing. The world is watching less, but your soul is watching more. And if you listen carefully, you'll hear it urging you: spend your coins wisely, not fearfully. Maybe this is why people call 30 the age of clarity. You start to see that your 20s were a playground, but your 30s are the garden. What you plant now will grow roots deep enough to last decades. A whisper for you. So here is the whisper I wish someone had given me before I turned 30. Don't panic about running out of time. Instead, learn the art of giving time meaning. Choose one dream and water it daily. Choose one person and love them fiercely. Choose one part of yourself and grow it patiently. Because in the end, the measure of your life will not be how many coins you were given, but how many coins you transformed into something shining, something lasting, something that still glows in the dark. And as you carry that lantern of wisdom, remember, you don't walk alone. This channel, Lantern and Lark Tales, exists so we can share these hidden lessons together. If this first lesson resonates, stay with me. The next one is even more surprising, and it may change the way you see yourself forever. Lesson 2: Friendships fade, but roots remain. When you're a child, friendship feels effortless. You sit beside someone in class, you both laugh at the same silly thing, and suddenly, you're inseparable. In your teens and 20s, friendships often bloom like wildflowers, spontaneous, abundant, and scattered across every corner of your life. Parties, road trips, late-night conversations that feel like lifelines, your 20s are filled with them. But here's the lesson nobody tells you before you turn 30: friendships don't end with explosions. They fade like dusk. They slip quietly out of your daily life, sometimes so gently that you don't even notice until one day you scroll through your phone and wonder, when did I stop talking to them? It's not betrayal. It's not anger. It's time. The nature of drifting. By 30, your friends are pulled in different directions. Some are raising children, some are building careers, some are chasing dreams across oceans. And even if you love them, you begin to realize that love doesn't always guarantee presence. I remember a friend from college. We once promised we'd travel the world together, live in the same city, and never lose touch. Today, we exchange birthday messages once a year, and sometimes even those come late. Does that mean we failed? No. It means life moved us into different orbits. Nobody warns you how much this drifting hurts the first time you notice it. It feels like losing small pieces of yourself. But with time, you learn that this too is part of the journey. The roots beneath the soil. And yet, here's the hidden truth: while branches stretch in different directions, roots remain. True friendships, the ones built on trust and laughter and shared pain, don't truly vanish. They go underground, waiting. I've gone years without seeing certain friends, but when we finally sit down again, it's as if no time has passed. That's the gift of roots. They grow silently, holding memories like seeds. So when you turn 30 and look around to see fewer faces at your table, don't despair. The circle may shrink, but the roots deepen. Quality over quantity. In your 20s, you may chase wide networks, eager to know everyone, to be everywhere. But by 30, you realize that 5 true friends outweigh 50 casual connections. Think of your life as a lantern. At first, you want as many sparks as possible to keep it lit. But over time, you discover that a steady flame burns longer than 1,000 flickers. Those steady flames are the people who stay not because they must, but because they choose to. And when you find them, honor them. Invest in them. Send the message first. Show up when it matters. Because friendships aren't kept alive by accident, they're nurtured like gardens. The loneliness nobody mentions. Here's the part most people don't admit: your 30s can be lonely. The gatherings are fewer, the calendar's busier, the silence is longer. Some nights, you'll feel the absence of what once was those spontaneous midnight adventures, the laughter echoing in crowded apartments. It's easy to mistake this loneliness as a failure. But really, it's an invitation. An invitation to know yourself more deeply, to sit in the quiet and realize that solitude can be fertile ground. And when you embrace it, you begin to see loneliness not as emptiness, but as space for new connections, new stories, new versions of yourself. A letter you'll never send. There's someone you haven't spoken to in years. You think of them sometimes on their birthday, or when you hear a song that reminds you of that one unforgettable night. You wonder if they think of you, too. Here's a small exercise: write them a letter. You don't have to send it. Just write. Tell them what they meant to you, thank them for the light they brought into your life, forgive them for drifting, forgive yourself for drifting too. Sometimes, the act of remembering with gratitude is enough. Because friendships aren't about permanence. They're about impact. And even if someone is no longer in your daily orbit, the way they shaped you remains forever. The Lantern and the Lark. This channel, Lantern and Lark Tales, is built on this very idea, that even when life moves us apart, stories are the lanterns that reconnect us. A single tale, a single reminder, can make you feel less alone, less adrift. So if you've ever felt the sting of fading friendships, know this: you are not abandoned. You are simply being guided toward a smaller, truer circle. And within that circle lies a kind of companionship deeper than the wide networks of youth. And if you're listening now, maybe it's time to reach out. Text that one person. Call that friend you've been meaning to call. Water the roots. Because a friendship revived is often stronger than one never tested. A whisper for you. So here is the whisper I wish someone had given me before I turned 30. Friendships will fade, but the ones that matter will remain, not always in sight, but always in soul. And when you stand at the threshold of 30, don't mourn the empty seats, cherish the ones who stayed, and honor the roots that still hold beneath the soil. And if this speaks to you, pause for a moment, like this video, subscribe to Lantern and Lark Tales, and share it with someone who once lit your path. Because maybe, just maybe, this story will be the lantern that leads you back to each other. Stay with me. Lesson 3 is about to reveal a truth that stings even more, yet heals even deeper. And you won't want to miss it. Lesson 3: Success isn't what you think it is. When you're young, success is a shiny word. It glows in your imagination like a golden trophy waiting at the end of some invisible finish line. Maybe it's a corner office with your name on the door. Maybe it's a big house with glass windows and a car that purrs when you press the gas. Maybe it's fame, applause, or the kind of recognition that makes people whisper your name when you walk into a room. But here's the truth nobody tells you before you turn 30: success is not a finish line. It's not even the trophy. It's a shapeshifter, a moving target, and often an illusion. And if you're not careful, you'll spend your 20s chasing someone else's definition of success, only to arrive at 30 holding a prize that doesn't even belong to you. The myth of arrival. We're told from childhood: study hard, get the degree, land the job, climb the ladder. And maybe you did all of that. Maybe you ticked every box and still woke up one morning at 29, staring at the ceiling, whispering, "Is this it?" That's because nobody tells you about the myth of arrival. The belief that once you reach a certain milestone, you'll finally feel complete. You'll finally feel enough. But success doesn't work that way. Reaching the milestone feels good for a moment, an hour, a day, maybe a month. But then the bar shifts. The corner office isn't enough, you want the view. The house isn't enough, you want a bigger one. The applause isn't enough, you want a standing ovation. The myth of arrival keeps you running on a treadmill, mistaking movement for meaning. Redefining success before 30. By 30, something inside you begins to whisper, success isn't out there, it's in here. Success might mean peace of mind. Success might mean the freedom to say no. Success might mean having dinner with your family every night, or waking up excited for work you actually love. Success might mean finally forgiving yourself for the mistakes you made in your 20s. Nobody tells you this, but the most radical act you can do before 30 is to define success on your own terms. Not your parents'. Not your friends'. Not society's. Yours. The danger of comparison. Comparison is the thief that grows teeth in your 30s. At 23, you see someone doing better than you and think, "I've got time." At 29, you see the same thing and think, "I'm behind." But here's the whisper: you are not behind. You are on your own clock. Life isn't a race, it's a tapestry, and no two threads are meant to look the same. If you measure your success against someone else's highlight reel, you will always come up short. But if you measure it against your own growth, you'll see how far you've already come. A story from the cliff. I once met a man on a hiking trail. He was in his 60s, standing at the edge of a cliff, looking out at the horizon. We struck up a conversation, and he told me something I never forgot. I spent 30 years chasing promotions, thinking success was the next rung on the ladder. Then one day, I realized I'd climbed the wrong ladder. it was leaning against the wrong wall. That's the danger. You can spend decades climbing, only to discover the view at the top doesn't feed your soul. The subtle success nobody celebrates. Success is sometimes so quiet that nobody claps for it. Waking up sober another day. Walking away from a toxic relationship. Finally resting after years of burning yourself out. Saying no to something that doesn't align with your values. Nobody throws you a party for these wins. But they're the foundation of a meaningful life. So if you're 29 and you haven't bought the house, haven't built the empire, haven't written the bestseller, pause. Maybe your greatest success is invisible to others, but deeply felt by you. And that counts more than you think. The lantern of true success. Here at Lantern and Lark Tales, we believe success is not the applause you collect, but the light you spread. It's not about climbing higher, but about glowing brighter, even in small spaces. If you've ever felt lost in the chase, let this be your lantern. Define success for yourself. Guard it fiercely. And don't be afraid if your definition looks different from everyone else's, that's what makes it true. A whisper for you. So here is the whisper I wish someone had given me before I turned 30. Success is not a destination. It's the alignment between your soul and your choices. And once you stop chasing, you start arriving, not at a finish line, but at yourself. If that resonates with you, don't just nod quietly, share this story. Like it, subscribe to Lantern and Lark Tales, and let it remind someone else who feels behind that they are exactly where they need to be. Stay close. Because Lesson 4 is about to dive into a truth even deeper, one that challenges everything you think you know about love and relationships. If this story has sparked something inside you, don't let the light fade here. Subscribe to Lantern and Lark Tales and carry this lantern with you into every chapter of life. Each tale we share is another spark, another truth waiting to guide you through the fog. By joining us, you're not just subscribing to a channel, you're becoming part of a circle of seekers who believe in the quiet power of stories. So, before the next lesson unfolds, take a moment to like, share, and subscribe, and let's keep walking this path together. Before we part ways, remember, the journey doesn't end with this tale. If you found light here, let it guide you further. Subscribe to Lantern and Lark Tales so you never miss the next story waiting to change the way you see life. Until then, keep your lantern lit, and let your story unfold.
Thank you.